So today we're going to be showing you the Galaxy S4. We're really excited about the Galaxy S4 because we feel like we've really innovated quite a bit. As you'll notice, the body is about the same size as the Galaxy S3 from last year, but the screen is significantly larger, it's lighter, it's thinner, and it has a bigger battery. So a lot of the innovation has really taken place kind of underneath within the technology. But today we're really not here to talk about specs. We're going to instead highlight all the cool features of the device and kind of where you might use them in your regular life. So to start off, I want to highlight how we've made it a lot easier to discover these different features. So with the Galaxy S3, we introduced S-Beam, which was tapping to share photos, videos, different content. And we've got a lot of feedback that people loved it, but it was a little bit hard to figure out how to turn on S-Beam. So as you'll notice from this, I start to unlock, and I see the standard notification bar. This is pretty much what you would see on the Galaxy S3 and all of our previous devices. Now, with the Galaxy S4, if I use 2 fingers, I get a much more robust list of quick toggles. So this is great for kind of quickly looking, is it on, is it off? And also kind of a little cheat sheet to what's actually on your device. What's really nice about this is it's completely customizable. So if you find that you use, for example, multi-window more and you want it to be on top, you can move it fairly easily. If you accessed it in the regular way, which is 1 finger, you can also get to this by touching the button in the top corner to access the larger panel. So while we're in this, the first feature that I'm going to highlight today is AirView. So as you can see, AirView is right here. It's a quick toggle and it's on. The one I'm going to highlight after right away is Air Gesture. So as you can see, that's right there and it's also on. So AirView, a quick trick for remembering AirView is it's really about previewing content. So let's say there's a lot of information that's available on the device, and we want to serve it up to you in a better way, in a way that's faster, more responsive, so that you have a lot more conveniences in your daily life. So the first place that I'm going to show you AirView is within the calendar. So say I have a busy day, I can just hover over in the month view and see a preview of all the different things that I have in that day. So this one we've populated with a couple different events. It's really useful when you have a calendar, a lot like mine, kind of full of lots of different things throughout the day. So maybe you can't see it in the month view. So kind of maybe you have more than 4 activities in a day, which for most of us that's pretty common. And you can just kind of hover, and as you can see, I'm holding my finger about a couple centimeters above the device, and I'm previewing the content. So I'm not touching the screen here. So where else might I use AirView? Well, you're having a busy day and you're out of the house and you're getting tons of email. Well, normally you click on the email, you go into it, and I go back and now it's marked as read. So if it were important, I would have to see, I would now see that it's read and I get back to my computer and it maybe would be something that I would ignore. Well, the nice thing about AirView is I can hover my finger over and I can get a preview of what's within that email. And if I had one with an attachment, I could actually hover over the paperclip from the attachment and see all the attachments in that email. So really just kind of saving steps and presenting a lot more information to the surface. Now you may have heard of AirView before. This is something we introduced on the Note 2 and the Note 8 as well with the S Pen. The real innovation here is that I'm not using any accessory. I'm using my hand just to do that quick hovering. So it's a great touch screen, but I'm not even touching it to do a lot of cool stuff. So the next place that you might want to use AirView, and just keep in mind I'm showing you some of the places that you might be using it, but not all of them. So we've started to work with third parties. We feel like AirView is a really cool feature, and we want it used kind of as many places as possible. So the first one that we've announced is within Flipboard. This is not set up. We're not going to do Flipboard. So the next place is within Flipboard. Flipboard, I can preview kind of what's within each tile and then click directly to see what's within each one. So the last place today that I'm going to show you AirView is within the gallery. So a lot of us have lots of folders of photos within our gallery, and maybe we don't know what's within each one. If I just hover on top, I can see a preview of all the different photos that are in. So it's really saving clicks, saving steps. So now say I'm like, okay, that's the right folder, I'm going to click in. We have this beautiful grid, but maybe if I took it in portrait or landscape, some of the edges are cut off to fit into the grid. So again, I can preview to see a full view of what's there. So that brings us into air gesture. So air view is really about kind of pulling up content to the surface, whereas air gesture is more about navigating through the device. So the first place I'm going to show you air gesture, and just watch as I'm doing it. I'm doing it in kind of an exaggerated motion. A good rule of thumb when you're doing this is to use the Samsung logo at the top as your point of reference. So we have a sensor right in the front of the screen, and as long as you're waving your hand over that, you should be okay. So I can actually scroll through the different images, and with air view, I was pretty close to the screen. I was maybe an inch away. With air gesture, I'm a little bit higher up. So now is probably the limit of where I am, but maybe I would use it like this. So the gallery is, kind of I like the gallery air gesture because for me, it's a great way to show it off to my friends. But, I can see that maybe this isn't where you would use it all the time in your daily life. So I'm going to show you a few more places where you might use it in your daily life. So if you wouldn't mind calling. So imagine you're home and you're cooking and your phone's on the counter and you have food on your hands or some water on your hands or whatever, and a call comes in. Normally, you kind of scuffle to get the phone, you end up with a streak across it, and then you're fumbling to get it against your head. Well, with air gesture, I can actually answer the call, and it's going to default into speakerphone. So I mentioned kind of a cooking use case. Another place that you might use it would be in the car. And so say it'll go into speakerphone. However, if you're connected to Bluetooth, it'll first answer in Bluetooth. And the same thing if you had headphones, it'll first answer into headphone mode. So it's intelligently selecting kind of which way it should be, but understanding that you don't have your phone up to your head so that it will never go into just kind of standard mode. So another place that you might use air gesture, I'm just going to go to a website. Oops. Having some connectivity problems. I'm going to ignore this because we're having some connectivity problems. But the last